Meeting of April. What, we always need to have. It's good.
Is it still there?
This time I didn't go. The last couple of months it's been made.
Intentionally. No. Yeah.
Now it's like, down. Anyhow, the first thing we have on the agenda is to approve the abstract.
I'll move that.
Second.
And
Yes. Yeah, we gotta
Yes.
vote. Councilperson Martin Bennett.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Right. The next up would be the public hearing for the petition of DNA Properties Inc. for annexation to the village of Dryden. And of town of Dryden parcel. The tax number is 38. -1-30.11. Yes.
Yeah, so we need to call on the joint meeting of the town board and the village board of trustees. For.
Okay.
Three village trustees, no, for.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I suppose if. Is there any way the mics, you can use the mic though, if you need to. We're just holding it.
Yeah, I can just
Yeah.
run everything from here, and if anyone needs to say
Yeah.
anything from the village board, that's fine. I'll just introduce myself as the village attorney for the village of Dryden, Natalie French with Hancock Estabrook. We have the village of Dryden trustees here with 3 members constituting a quorum, so I'll need Mike, you to call a meeting of the village of trustees to order. At 6:05 PM. Let's see. There was a public notice that was published in the paper beginning on, what's the date of publication? April, March 13th. On March 13th, and was sent to the school districts on March 11th regarding this petition. I've confirmed proper and timely publication of the notice of public hearing and mailing of notices. There are recorders present and an audio recording is being made, so if anyone wants to speak, please speak loudly. Any comments made should be directed to the board and not to the petitioners themselves. Are the petitioners present online? Okay.
I don't think so.
Any comments should be limited to that provided by section 705 of the New York State General Municipal Law, being the question of whether the proposed annexation is in the overall general public interest. I do have copies of 705 of the General Municipal Law if anyone wants it, and I do not intend to read it aloud. So with that, I will ask the town board to open the public hearing on the matter, and if there's any public comment to be made.
Okay, so, yep, so we've opened the public hearing on this annexation matter, and if there's anybody from the public who wants to comment on it, I don't see any right now.
I'll make a few questions that I have for the petitioner, though they're not here today to answer them, as to the authority of the signer of the petition, his name being Benjamin P. Whitmore. As the petitioner wasn't a corporation, I just didn't know Mr. Whitmore's authority to sign the petition on their behalf. I can inquire with the petitioner and advise the boards as to their response. Also, I note that we have not received a seeker from the petitioner, so we cannot designate a lead agency as there's been no seeker received, but one is required.
Right. And then, I mean, we weren't planning on taking any action until next.
No action. I believe the next step would be for our findings, for each board to produce findings based on this hearing, and then a seeker determination once we get the seeker report.
Yeah.
I anticipate that the village will opt to be the lead agency on seeker.
Yep.
And ask if the town has any objection to that.
Yeah. I don't think we have any objections to it. So.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay. I suppose we just gotta keep it open for like another 10 minutes. And then close it. I guess in the meantime. You know, huh?
Can we talk about it? a little?
Yeah, if you wanna, yeah,
I mean, this is more or less to add this property to the sewer and water service area, correct? The main purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is that strange part of town where we have a little bit of
It goes back.
checkerboard, goes back and forth.
Yeah.
So I think this is one of the things that we've always kind of anticipated happening. Oh,
With this annexation, it will create a town island, so to speak, so one town person will be completely surrounded by village property.
Mhm.
So it's not impermissible in my discussion with my
this is 30.11, right? That we're talking about?
The old dollar store.
Yeah.
Was a grocery store.
Yeah.
Green.
Okay.
So the storage business on the corner is now isolated as a town tract.
For now. And when that goes to be developed, I'm sure it'll go through a similar process.
What, I don't know if that will be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they've got brand new facilities that already, they don't need those services,
No need for sewer and water?
which is not.
It's the storage.
So the storage units don't need it, do not need it.
Fair point. Okay.
I mean, unless somebody's gonna offer them a whole lot of money to tear them down and redeploy it.
Which
Yeah.
I suppose it one day might be possible, but
I think there's other spots that would be more suited.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Remember when they came here for their permit? We dictated their colors. Who wanted their tones?
well, yeah. I know we want to study that too.
So we're talking about that here.
Yeah.
And this is. Yep, that. So it's more or less an island already joined by that.
Right.
So it's still an island, just a smaller island.
They're the only ones left on there.
Yeah.
Survive. So, okay. All right, I mean, it's the same reasons. That's what it is. Well, I'm gonna open up the next public hearing. Well, actually, I can't, I gotta wait till 6:30. We noticed the other one for 6:30.
Jeez. Pass a law and change that?
I don't think so.
No. I wouldn't follow it.
Do the other
stuff?
We can open it up.
What?
We can open it up now.
Yeah, actually, I do have a question, but not related to this thing, but you have the grant, the Derek Forward thing. Not yet, because I gotta keep it open for 15 minutes, so.
So what's the question?
So I guess what are the next steps that you need for that piece?
Trying to arrange the day where some state officials come down and the consultants and the state representatives that we do all the time. And I'm not loud.
Yeah. It's because I don't know if there's anything you need from us for that.
Okay, basically, the first stage was that we found out and met the consultants. These consultants have done 5 or 6 of these, so they're experienced. They recently did the Groton one. So we inherit them, and also the state representative, Allison Bodine, if I'm pronouncing the name right. She's going to be the representative. She's been very good. And so the first thing was get us to know and talk a little bit about it. And then they asked us to come up with a committee that would be on it. And we had 12 names, and we submitted it. We haven't heard back. So the next step was not related to that, but it's the next step is to do a walk. So they're going to come up someplace, we think the 28th, 29th, or 30th, and the state representatives are going to come down, and we're going to walk through the village and say, this is what we're doing, this is, so they can visually see it. And Then the next step after that will be early in May. We don't know the exact day. And we will have a public hearing. Maybe that's not the word, but a presentation. And it will be in the village hall. And it will be advertised well. One of the nice things of having the report, they realize that people don't have the staff to do these things. So instead of looking at 10 million, 5 million to each village, they give us 4.5 and they take $1 million to do the consultants and whatever else has to be done. So the consultants will be doing several things. They will be running all the meetings. There will be Zoom or WebEx. I keep forgetting to ask them. But anyway, it's going to be live. So anybody who wants to see it, they can come lively or do that. They will not be able to respond when it's being presented. However, they are aware that over the 6 months or so, people might be out of village and they will have it so they can Zoom in. And so they're the only ones that can see and talk, and they will be able to participate in it. One of the better things is they will be running a website and putting information on there and dealing with that. So it starts early in May, and then after that, they'll follow on with some workshops. The workshop will be where what most people will be interested in is how do I get the grant money? But they'll have other topics too. But we will have a workshop about how you go about it, what type of paperwork you need, what you need to do. And they'll probably have another regular open meeting just talking to people within a month. And then they'll have another workshop. And some of the workshops could be on things that will be the public part of it. There would be, do we want a dog park? Do we want a splash pad? What can we do to make the parking lot behind the municipal look better? Do we need signs so people know where the park is? So, and anything else along that line. And then eventually, or I shouldn't say eventually, they will help people who need help to come up with their presentation for what they want. Sometime in the month of July, could be last week of June, but they usually have about a 6-week period where they can present, or not, maybe not present, but people who want something. I want to put a roof on, it's on Main Street, and I can't afford to, and it makes it hard for me to get tenants because it's not good. And I want to put mine in. One of the things is that we have 4.5, but we like what you say and everything else, but we're not the finalist. We kind of screen them and telling people, no, they won't accept that because you don't have any financing. So nice dream, but hey, gotta be reality because we're only going to send realities. However, we don't want to be the one saying no to you or Dan man. We're going to say, okay, we like it. It's good. We'll send it. And it goes to the state. And if it's DOT hasn't to do the roads, then it goes to DOT. If it has to do with housing, it goes with this department. If it's something else, it might go, different things. I can't figure out which ones, but the housing departments. And then you do it and they come back and they say, yeah, these are good. These are good. Oh, no. And unfortunately, we only had a nice thing to do along the stream to make it a nice trail and a place for activities. They said, no, don't spend the money on that. But they got lots of money for other things. So even ours, we have to sell. It has to be making sense to them. And then the one nice thing is regards to ours, if they approve it, it costs us nothing. It's free. So since it's free, they're going to be very scrupulous because they want to make sure they're getting their money's worth.
Right. Okay.
We're not putting up any money. So eventually, then we go through them in the next couple meetings, and eventually, about December, we will have probably 6 meetings and maybe some workshops in between. And then we'll send them up to Albany. Most of them will do it end of November or December, at least by Christmas. And then the response depends. Could be March, could be April, not going to be in January. And they'll make a response back and they'll say this, and no, sorry, and everything else. So we're naturally going to send more, maybe a lot of places send at least 6 million, because some of the small ones aren't a big problem, but some of, all the little ones can add up, so. We're basically screening it, trying to get people to do it, talking about what will make the village better and how we'll do it. A lot of it is probably going to be directed to Main Street, West Main Street, because that's the part. You come down from up north and you see the Walgreen, or you see Napa, or you see Kinney and all these other things. You go, it's a nice place. And then you turn the corner and you go, it's not so good. And it doesn't fairly represent the village. We think we're much more vibrant, more active, more due. And so that will be one of the things that we will spend on. One of the things we also will be spending on, Jason's aware of it, and probably you are too, that the Methodist Church can no longer, because of declining people to support it. And they haven't decided, but healthy kids are childcare, daycare. And we've had the men that are interested. For 3 years, we keep saying, are you interested? And they said, yeah, but we'll wait and see, because they want to, get us to fix some of the things that need to be converted. They have not made the final decision, but they seem very good. We're pushing that part because we don't want that church empty and just kind of deteriorate and rot. And some small churches are easy to be going. You convert it to a couple of bedrooms and make it an apartment house. But that building is not that way. And they were very approachable. They were very friendly in the sense that, well, maybe we can find something with the chapel. Maybe people can use it on Sunday. Maybe there can be musical things in there or other things. It's got great acoustics. So, any number of other things. So we're kind of hoping we'll make progress on that. There's also a committee before we were originally chasing them because of the fact that we were empty. We had a group, Tom Sinclair is leading, and he's got a number of good people that were thinking of it being the community center. And we're thinking maybe they'll rent from the community center. They really want to buy it if they're going to do it. But the nice thing from the conversation was, well, we could do things with the public. Like the chapel, maybe it could be used for different things. I don't know if you're aware of it, but there's a sleep bag making group. And they make sleeping bags for people that can't afford them. And we moved from October through to May. And they have all their stuff stored under the stairs at the Methodist Church. And they've gone looking for other places, and people say, yeah, you can use the space, but no, we don't have a place to store it. And so they drag it out, and they, go a week, and they make sleeping bags. And we said, hey, how about them? He says, we don't plan to use that part during the day. Yeah, no problem. So they seem friendly. Hopefully we can work it out. This is kind of a sidetrack from the other part of the grant. Yes.
So you're going to have a website and you're going to solicit grant ideas or grant applications
Yeah.
for that. And that's what happens with the $4.5 million. So when you applied, you didn't say, we hope to do X, Y, or Z.
You do. You basically, it doesn't sound nice, but basically you sell them that we are capable people, we're proactive, we're going to do something, we're going to invest your money, and we're going to get return. We're going to get private money coming to match it. We're going to get things changed so the village grows. We're going to revitalize it. We're going to draw more companies into it or other things. And some of the things that we put in maybe won't happen, but some of them will. And they basically say, okay, we love what you said. We're sold on the fact that it's a community that's going to do something. They're not declining, they're trying to grow, and we've been doing things. And they say, okay, now send them in. And some of them all will be the same, but there'll be some new ones. We do the sales job to say, let us be the people.
When does the website go live?
It probably goes in May, just about the time that they have with everything.
And so potential project hosts can look at the website then and think about how they might apply for funds.
Yes.
Okay, just one quick thought, we have a revolving loan fund here in the town that we have. And, we invested in the Connected Stitches operation on Main Street, so. Just something to keep in mind on,
That's a good idea. I like that.
people are looking for bridge funding. It's not $4.5 million, but it's a couple $100,000 that we have that we can complement projects that, might not otherwise come together.
Yeah, I think that's a valuable thing, and we're looking for other things, but I think we can do with the village and one of the days I was encouraging somebody that. And I won't get into their business. I said, well, we got a lot of space and you're just kind of filling it up. We could divide it into two and we could have another small business that would be enriched, that would bring people into the village. So there's all sorts of possibilities.
Yeah, I think what Dan's getting at is like if someone needs, like you talked about someone needing financing in order to be approved.
Yeah.
So they should look to the town also if they can't get it from a bank or somewhere else, because we have that fund.
Really, I didn't think of
But
that.
that's what I think Dan was
I
getting.
thought he was talking about, having revolving fund where we save 100,000 and people could come and use it as revolving so that when they pay theirs back in 5 years, somebody else could get it.
Yeah, that's what.
Well, yes, but for a business proposition or a business plan, somebody could say, I'm gonna put, 50,000 of private capital in, I'm gonna put 50,000 of Dryden Town revolving loan funds in, and I need $1 million from this revitalization grant program, and then you might get have a better chance of passing. That's all. So I'm
Yeah.
just saying, when
No,
they get on the website, they could throw a link up to our
okay.
website, because we have.
Thank you for the invitation. I will be happy to pass that on because
Okay.
my goal is to spend the money well and get people to do it.
Yeah.
One of the things that the committee is that we, it's approved, and they will have to make the decision what the matching will be. And there's a range of places, and I guess we can't talk about what it's going to be until it happens, but judged on a lot of the other communities, some of them done 40, that the private person puts in 40 and gets 60. But oftentimes in the smaller villages, it's been a 30. So you pay them 30 and you get your 70. And there might be some where I want $2 million. No, but I'm not sure we have any projects that would fit in that category. So it's kind of wait and see. And that committee could say, no, we want to do 40 because we want the money to go farther. Or another committee could say, no, we want to do 30. And we can, I can't imagine we'll do 50-50 because maybe they'll do that in Binghamton or someplace like that, where there's a bunch of developers, but we don't have a lot of those.
Right.
And that's kind of what will happen. And the nice thing is, we just don't have the staff to do a nice website telling what's going on and getting information and things. So, and that's great that they'll do that. And also, we'll be organizing the meetings and getting the stuff set up. So, and they'll give advice and help the people. But also, we'll take advantage of some departments. So, if you have a question, we'll try to connect you with a state representative before you jump in your grant, saying these are the things that you need to know. So,
Yep.
very fortunate and very lucky.
Yeah, I'm glad you got it.
That's so impressive.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions? I'm still really excited.
Yeah, so, I'll close the public hearing now so that we can then y'all can do your thing with the seeker, and I guess you'll do it, for your meeting next month?
So I'll have to, the petitioner to submit a seeker, and then once received, we can declare meetings. So if I can get that by our next meeting on Wednesday, we will declare then with the resolution for the town. So.
Mhm.
So on the petitioner.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, we're all set then. Thank you. Great.
There goes our audience.
I know, we're in the audience.
I shaved for this.
As long as you don't trust like Cory Booker, so you can talk for 25 hours if you don't.
Yes.
After we leave.
Yeah. Just warming up.
We'll just zoom in and listen down.
Sure you will.
Can you do number 5 real quick?
Yeah. I think Nick's out in Florida.
Yeah,
so-
he's not here, so. No, back out.
That goes quick then.
Yep.
The roads are still there. They're not plowing.
They might need to though.
It is something, yes.
I don't think so. So,
Did they put salt out? They didn't, I think. They did the house.
all right, so then I can open the public hearing on the local law. Amending section 105-9H regarding enumerated unlicensed dog fees.
You close the public hearing.
Yeah, we closed it for the other one. At 6:20. So let me find. This is just the notice of the public hearing. And here's the local. Raising it, I think from. It's raising it up to $20. I believe it's been. Or 10.
For dogs.
No, it's $10. No, it's for the enumeration, the extra fee you pay on the. So if your dog is not licensed.
Okay, so
they
that's,
find it on the enumeration, then they had been $10 and it's going up to 20, it's $10 for. Probably the last 18 years or something.
so the new dog licensing fee will be 20.
No, the extra fee, it's called the enumeration. It's for the, if they find an unlicensed dog, you have to license it, and then you pay an extra fee on top of that. If you come in before the dog's counted, you pay the regular. Which is not going yet, but. That'll take next year.
Well, you know what I always say,
It's a dog eat dog world.
no, tax the cats. Go after the dogs, but the cats just get a free ride in this town,
No, eight birds.
That is an issue.
you know?
Yeah.
And they're the ones out there tearing things up.
And the birds.
Killing the birds, the chipmunks, squirrels. My dog's never killed a thing.
That we know of. So, yeah, it's open for public comment. So if anybody's on. Well, we're the only ones.
Good initiative, it's gonna raise awareness and education and. It's good for the community to have this. She's been promoting it pretty well too.
Well, the word's been getting out, Reddit's been. Pretty good about saying the enumeration's coming. So.
Have we seen a spike in people getting?
We're getting a lot of, yes, a lot of. Dog licenses. Or licenses that have lapsed,
Uh-huh,
like 2022 was the last. And then they.
Oh, they have to make up the lapse, yeah.
So. Current and.
Do you scold these people?
No, they're doing the right thing, Dan.
Anything more, I mean, Lawrence in a school book.
You're killing my joke.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
Quiet part out loud.
Isn't that clean?
We gotta kill 15 minutes here somehow, so I'm just doing my part.
Well, then we can introduce
What
the,
about the next
What about
step?
the other things?
Let's get those things done.
to the introduction of local law to repeal replace the. Chapter 155 entitled Flood Damage Prevention. That's a FEMA, which still exists for the moment. It's, something we have to do. But,
They're dwindled, but they still exist.
well, I mean, theoretically. I don't know if they have any people there anymore.
This is a point.
So what we're doing is we're doging our own law. And replacing it with something else.
So those deep state FEMA people don't
You
come
have
here.
those,
No,
you got all,
We're doing the right thing.
We're getting something so
Proactively.
that in case there's actually any, if there's a FEMA, and then a FEMA actually has money. And someone's damaged by a flood. They can actually get some help, and also they can still get flood insurance,
Yeah,
which,
It's a lot, yes.
well, the biggest one is, will we have a FEMA?
We may, but it may not have any resources.
It might not have as many letters in it.
either way, this also is an educational opportunity to make sure people understand if it's a flood zone and that it's a high risk and that they can get their insurance.
right.
And we have received all the new maps from FEMA, showing all the new really designated flood.
Thank God we got that in time.
What initiated this? How do we get a heads up that we need it?
We have to take an action to adopt the FEMA flood
Okay,
maps.
so this was
Yeah.
sent to us by FEMA or the county?
There's a lot of language the DEC put together,
Okay,
so it's a little more stringent for flood zone protection, really.
This was
Yeah.
learnings after lots of heavy rains over the last number of years initiated a
Mhm.
improved assessment, correct?
Improved.
Well, they've been studying it to understand it better because of all the impacts from.
Yeah,
recent
so the
events.
reevaluated flood zones, and that's why they've expanded in most places.
Yeah.
To acknowledge the higher flood events.
Improved data. I guess is my Updated.
Mapping that we've had is 1985 vintage and not very exact at all, just very thick lines on small maps. Not in GIS format, so now we have a much better resource to actually identify where the affected zones are.
But there's digital versions that we have for the.
Yeah, the GIS maps.
so we've got to cure this for a month. We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Good thing.
It's conservation board awareness.
I will make sure that they are. I know we talked about it in a couple months ago. In one of the
Okay.
meetings.
Yeah.
Yes, there's the big hearing for the May 15th, and then that would be the adoption time, and we have to have this on the books by June 19th. That's when it would go into effect.
Donna.
The public hearing will be the 15th, the adoption will be when?
The option,
Adoption,
When do we vote?
oh, yeah, on May 15th, you can adopt.
on the same day?
Because if we don't, the non-existent staff at FEMA will do this. Right, will scold us.
But it's nice that before they all got fired, they provided us the new maps.
So in the spring, will you bring this to the conservation board? or-
Yeah, I'll make
Okay.
sure. I know we talked about it a few months ago, so.
The AI bots. will take care.
Oh, Grok?
They have feelings too.
Really? But
They can come up with terrifying. They're good.
they're very useful. We gotta keep going. We got 7 minutes of. Then next week. In the order presentation. With the paragraph, SUP, but I won't be here.
Okay, I've given a heads up to our stakeholders about. Forger, I mean, it's technically BHE coming here, Berkshire Hathaway Energy. And there's a group of our residents who care about this. They've been notified. So.
Mhm.
But if you can think of any questions that you have in the meantime, I want to ask them. I'm going to be asking them about their community investment grant program, because they have a community benefit grant program. We should be applying every year.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody.
No, the last one was for the rail trail.
Okay.
By golly, I think we might do it again, because the rail trail still needs money.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah,
I did submit an application with Assemblywoman Kellis's office. Some bridge funding,
Mhm.
literally and figuratively $2 billion. See what I did there? Bridge funding.
you're very clever.
Okay.
Feel like that should somehow be on a bumper sticker, maybe on the bridge. This bridge was built with bridge funding.
Trademark. Gotta give me a cut. Here's.
I think if we're gonna do stand up, we should go over there.
Literally stand up.
Yeah.
What? In charge.
Give open mic night.
Is the billboard still on track for the 17th?
Spot on.
The billboard? At Hanshaw and 13, is that still on track for were they supposed to open on April 17th? Build it. I know they started work out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started like they were supposed to go live on April 1, so that something's holding them up.
Okay.
So. Haven't
Where did
heard
you put, is this the one that's
Hanshaw on Route 13.
By 84.
near where the, I don't know,
Up on the hill.
I haven't even noticed.
Yeah, they're improving the mound that it's going to sit on, but no.
Yeah, they poured the foundation probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. And the framework is there, they just haven't gotten the delivery of the actual panels. And then a crane will be coming in and putting that all, assemble it all together.
So that will just happen like in a day.
Yeah.
Pouring the foundation's the hard part.
So that's been done. And then they will, the same crew is on site, they'll be doing the other 3 billboards. Taking them, dismantling them.
Are we going to be there to like turn it on? A flip switching ceremony.
I'm joking there somewhere.
The first message, what was the first message? We are killing time here, right? 'Cause-
Yeah,
So
I don't want to divert from our
a mission of,
mission.
we still have to wait another
I need to send you guys an email.
2 minutes before I can close our public hearing.
The first message would be to dog register.
Yeah.
Get your dog registered
Or pay.
or else.
Yeah.
I am gonna be out of state on June 12th. Is that gonna be a problem for the group?
It's gonna be a big problem.
Huge problem.
We're all planning to be gone on June 12th.
Anytime you leave, it's a problem.
It's a problem.
because I don't need-
Where are you going?
We are gonna have a friends reunion. with My husband's friend. Okay, brothers out in Washington State.
Washington State all the way there.
You just came from Chile. What are you talking about?
Yeah, really.
Oh,
There is a conference I want to go to in Honduras, but it conflicts
With the town board meeting?
Oh, wait, that's.
with the Washington trip.
What kind of conference in do this?
Parents.
About
So you're gonna miss Dairy Day and town.
Yeah, I didn't know that when we scheduled this trip like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I'm taking my vacation.
But I thought Dryden Dairy Day was later in the month. When I scheduled this 6 months ago.
You need to be earned.
Photograph. Little poster.
we should get a cow next year.
Dairy Day is always the second Saturday.
Yeah.
Next year.
Like a live one?
No, one of the
Wooden cow.
Yeah, the wooden cows,
Oh, have a town.
a town cow.
Have a cow.
I love Dryden Dairy Day. I was really upset about this, but
Yeah.
there's like
They
14 people who can't change their plans.
Well, they could always attend Dryden Dairy Day.
You just bring one.
They do that with Judy deal.
Why aren't you having it here? That's the
We
question.
did it here 2 years ago.
That's time.
We give them all this one.
And if memory serves,
Yeah.
I did get a few.
The minutes will say town board babbles incessantly for 5 minutes about nonsense. While we're waiting to be able to close the public hearing.
Actually, I could bring up, if you remember, 2 years ago, we started into an application process for CDBG for the Hanshaw Village Mobile Home Park to
Yeah, and
extend
they
the sewer.
decided they didn't want to do it, now they need it.
Now they're back.
So they want us to use our CDBG this cycle for that?
Last time, what stopped it is they were not fully able to cover all the finances. So we were going down the road of doing the CDBG grant, but they were covering all the application, engineering, any cost beyond the grant itself. But then they blocked at the last minute. So now they would like to restart that effort.
And we are sure they're going to fall through and.
There have been a lot of assurances and there's mechanisms where they would actually, the way we're talking about it is they would establish an account and put all the money in this account that would be, if the CDBG is awarded, then that money gets turned over to the town to pay all the bills and get back the CDBG grant.
Because we lost that money last time, didn't we? Because we thought it was gonna go to them.
We lost them.
Didn't,
Well, we didn't think they were going to.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, we missed this.
Yeah. it's too bad.
yeah, and they desperately needed it there
Yeah.
because they keep getting oil and water orders.
So we went through a lot of the process last month, but then it stopped right at the end of July when we were about to apply.
Must be connecting to the water from, where near where Guthrie is, so.
Next to the sewer, right
So,
at that Hanshaw and Route 13 intersection, because it's right there on the south side.
Yep.
So if you want to entertain that, I would be bringing a bunch of stuff over the next 3 months to get to our July 31 deadline.
yeah, well, I mean, we need.
Yeah.
It's needed over there because it's not, obviously not sanitary, so.
Yep. It would improve the life there.
Okay, well, right, now we can move back to closing the public hearing on. The dog enumeration. Yeah, enumerate unlicensed dog fees. The resolution to adopt. Local law number 3 of 2025. Amends the section of the law. For enumerated unlicensed dog fees.
A second.
Councilperson Marks Menace.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. All right, and then. Let's move the resolution to introduce the flood damage. Law.
Okay, I'll second that.
Councilperson Marks Menace.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay. That's it.
Nice.
Passing the laws tonight.
Was there something else that we forgot that
No.
Well, set, thanks everybody.
Thanks everyone for coming.